epistemological meaning of right or wrong. The one that is just is the one that does what is morally right. In this movement, philosophers went beyond the epistemological meaning and explore how the context and the background and different variables affects how justice is applied. Justice is something people tend to talk about a lot. Political justice, social justice, etc. World talk we talk about a lot. We don't seem to have an agreement about it. Is justice about equality, about fairness, about getting what we deserve or getting what we need? It depends on the reasoning and the perspective of the person.
Justice can also be achieved by people who follow a certain religion or a group. If they base their decision on that group's rules, they will always be fair because that's their reality, and in their reality, those rules are what makes life fair.
According to John Rawls, the basis of society is set to tacit agreements. The agreed upon principles must not be depend on one's place in society.
There is not universal justice because it depends on the concept. Justice is relative.
I think there cannot be, because the criteria of each person becomes so wide that they cannot synchronize it with others. For example, for subject A who likes apples red, don't match with the subject B who prefers apple red. The truth criteria and the moral of the people becomes a trigger to not reach a complete solution. If not, it creates the opportunity to create different ideas that end up constituting a justice for each fact. I believe that universal justice can be achieved, but it can be reduced to such a degree that one applies to many things, in which the characteristics are similar and allow to encompass more things, making things a little easy.
I think a universal justice will only be possible in a European society. The way people think changes a lot, even from one person to another, so let alone an entire country. And one example could be people for and against gun control. Some people think it is their right to own a gun and use it in case they need to protect themselves. And the other half of the population thinks guns are bad and should be eliminated as a whole in the country. Personally, I think it's absurd. People want to protect themselves from other people who own guns. And I think it's unfair for people to pay the price with their lives for someone else's decision. But I also think it would be unfair for someone to die because they didn't have access to guns. So it makes us think whose life has more value than the other.
In conclusion, based on the information reached in this work, I think that there is not universal justice that applies for every situation, but I think there are certain contemporary characteristics on how society sees it. With that in mind, I think that justice is like a sectional math formula in which a range of x values, a formula applies, and for others, another formula.
The way to reach a justice that encompasses all the criteria would only be possible if we knew the whole truth and everyone accepts his punishment voluntarily and knows why he deserves it.